Hello. Hello, I am live and it's showtime. So, hello and thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Cindy and I work for VIPKID. I work for GoGo Kid, Outschool, and Your Teachable Moment. So, I just wanted to come on here and talk about VIPKID, and there's some discussion on whether or not we should teach past the 25 minutes. And I just wanted to talk about this um, because I can, right? So thank you for coming to this channel. So these are my thoughts. I have been teaching for VIPKID for 2.5 years, and I have also branched out to other companies. But 2.5 years ago, things were a little different than they are now. Things are a little more streamlined now and a little more tight on what the rules are as far as teaching. When I first started, I realized that I could actually teach past 25 minutes. I could teach past 30 minutes. I could teach past, there was a couple classes I went like an extra 15 minutes. I do not believe that that is possible. I have not tried it. Usually I'm pretty booked and I have one class after the other. And now the rule for all Chinese classes is they have to end at 9 p.m. Beijing time, which would be 8 a.m. our time. So even if you wanted to teach past 8 a.m., it wouldn't work. So I haven't really tried it. I think they might just cut you off. So, but it is a great company. I love working for VIPKID. Is very streamlined, very organized, very a lot of good information so that you can get hired. You know what to do. You follow the steps. One of the things that you need to keep in mind is that you don't really call the company. You won't really hear from a person in the company. That's kind of strange to get used to. But there are lots of teachers online that can help with your teaching classes. There's a lot of there are a lot of workshops on the portal for VIPKID. There are a lot of YouTube videos, as you have already seen. There are thousands probably of YouTube videos. And so I just wanted to talk about the 25 minutes. Now, some of my friends will teach right up to 25 minutes done. Some people, we do have a leeway up to 28 minutes. They tell us, you know, we can have a little bit of a cushion. It doesn't just cut you off at the 25-minute mark, and you don't get penalized if you go a little bit over. The thing that you need to remember is that if you do not start the class the second that that class has to start, then you will get a teacher no-show. So if you're having a problem with your computer or something's going on that you can't get into class at 00, you will get a teacher no-show. But if the student isn't there, you have to wait. So the rule is that if the student is not there and they have not canceled class, you need to wait through the entire 25 minutes. If you're doing a trial class and there has been no student that has showed up, you can click the finish button, and then you can click the button that says 15 more minutes, or trial class ended 15, no student, 15 minutes, I'm leaving. So for a trial class, you get paid half price for a no-show, and then, but you can leave early if they don't show up. So that's, you know, kind of good, kind of bad. For a regular class, if the student does not cancel and they do not show up, you still get paid for that class. But you are not penalized if you go a little extra. So my ideas on the 25-minute timer are that if you are in a regular class, you start at the regular time, and you are consistently going past 25 minutes, like to 28, 29. I'm not even sure if you can actually reach 30 minutes or if it cuts you off at some point. Somebody can let me know in the comments if they've tried it. But, the other teachers don't really like that because, you're giving more time to your students. And then when they teach to 25 minutes, it looks like they're doing something wrong. But it's really the parents pay for 25 minutes. So we really should try to stop at 25 minutes to respect everyone. Respect the company, respect our fellow teachers, and also to respect the parents, because if we keep going on and on, maybe the parents have something they need to do, or maybe the student has something else they need to do, or places they need to go. So if we're continuing on with the lesson, we could be interrupting their schedule. Okay, so 25 minutes is what we are supposed to be teaching. So we should try to end as close to 25 minutes as possible. That's my opinion. And so you will get a message at 28 minutes. I know that you have to go to the next class. Now I do level 7. So level 7, you're going to do a 25-minute, and then you're going to have a 10-minute break. And then you're going to have 23 more minutes. So that means you only have 2 more minutes to get to your next class. That's kind of hard. You want to cut it off right at that second and get to your next class, because you only have 2 minutes at that point. So that's a hard little break there. So if you're teaching level 7 and you need to do something like get a drink or, take a pit stop, do that in that 10-minute time period in the middle of class, and then be ready to go to your next class at the end of your level 7 class. And what happens in a level 7 is they made a rule that kids are only allowed 25-minute classes, no back-to-back, 2 classes back-to-back by the same student. And for level 7, they have to have that mid-class 10-minute break. When I first started with VIPKID, level 7 went for 50 minutes, 50 whole minutes. And then we got the 10 minutes off. But they changed that to make it better for the student so that the student gets that 25-minute break. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for coming. So, yeah, so level 7 is a little bit different. So I suggest that you take your break, do whatever you need to do in the middle of that class. Now, I have seen that some people, you can kind of keep talking in the middle of that class. Technically, you could talk to the student. The timer goes on in the middle of your slides, and it just keeps ticking down. But I always just stop it at 25 minutes, tell the student to take a break, get a drink of water, whatever, and then I just resume right away. There is a bell that will ring when there's 1 minute until the second half of the class is supposed to start. So I just get ready so that I can turn that off, because if you don't turn off the timer, it keeps ringing. So that could be annoying. So yeah, so the teacher has to be on time at the beginning of class. And the teacher, it has a few seconds leeway after 25 minutes, but you should plan to stop as close to 25 minutes as possible. So let's see. Yeah, and so some teachers, they love their students and they want to keep teaching, and they're just like, how do I stop? I want to make sure I get all the slides done. Just take control of your time, because you do need that extra 5 minutes. You need that little bit of a break. You need to maybe stretch, do some, stretching, get a drink, because you don't want your next classes to be, you're worn out, you get a bad review or something like that. You want to be fresh for every new student. And also keep in mind that even though you have to be there at the beginning of class, if the student is late, say your student is 5 minutes late, you don't really have an obligation to teach past 25. The company likes it if you teach a couple extra minutes. And if that's possible, you can do that. And, like if the student is 5 minutes late and you want to go 2 extra minutes so that you can, get it all done because you love your student, then you can do that. But thank you, Amanda. She loves my glasses. Yeah, it was your idea. I'm going to just keep buying new glasses. Like, I don't use the same ones every time. So Anyway, so yeah, so the company likes it if you go a couple minutes later, if you get a student that is late. But if you can't, like if for some reason you cannot teach past 25 because you need to do something, that is actually your time, in my opinion. You can stop at 25. You do not have to feel obligated if the student is late. And like I said, the company likes it if you go a little longer. Now, way back 2 years ago, I can remember I had a student that had trouble getting in, and she was like 10 or 15 minutes late. And I just loved the student. I didn't really have a lot of classes at that time. And I didn't have a class after her class. And at that time, we had more communication with the firemen, and the firemen asked me if I would stay longer. And I said I would. And at that point, that was my choice. If I had said, no, I can't, I have a class after, I would not have been penalized. But nowadays, we don't have that interaction with the firemen like we used to. So we just have to keep in mind that 25 minutes is the students sign up for 25 minutes. Start on time, teach to 25. If you go a little bit over, it's okay, but you don't have to feel obligated. And just keep in mind that the Chinese culture, they are very much into being on time. That is very important to them, which I respect completely. I love that concept. I don't really personally like the concept of, I'll be there at 3 and then I go get there whenever I want. And it depends on the situation, especially for teaching. You're teaching kids consistency and, being professional and all that. And so I really don't believe that in the Chinese culture, if they're going to tell you to be there on time, they're not expecting you to stay longer. And that's why we all need to kind of do the 25 minutes, because the more people that go over, the more it kind of gets confusing for the parents. Am I paying for 25 minutes or 28 minutes? Or, why can't the teacher stay longer? And that kind of thing. So it's good when we meet our obligation and we just show them that professionalism in both ways. So to wrap this up, I do believe you should try to teach to the 25 minutes. So in order to do that, you can make sure you look at your slides and make sure you know how many there are. Some of the classes are 22 slides. Some of the free talks are like 22. There are some classes that are 28. There are assessments that are even more than that. And so look at the number of slides that you have. Usually we try to plan on 1 minute per slide, but of course some slides might just be a title page or something like that. And so you're going to have to kind of tweak yourself, as you go along. So if you're teaching and you're at minute 5 and you're on slide 5, then you're probably doing pretty well if you have 25 to 28 slides. So Amanda says she follows the slide number to the minute in the classroom. If it's minute 10, I better be on, and that's what I just said, I better be on slide number 10. And every now and then, though, you'll see a class that has a lot more slides. And sometimes it's just because there's a title page or there's a reward page and something like that. So this morning I did a level 1. And it's a new level 1, and there's a lot of different songs. I haven't taught a lot of level 1 classes. This class I had never taught before. And so with level 1, it's kind of hard because sometimes the kids get in there, they don't really know how to talk at all. And sometimes the kids get in there and it's way too easy. So then you have to extend. And the class I had this morning was an assessment, and it had a lot of extra slides, but my student he could speak pretty fluently. So I could tell right away that I could extend. And if I just went for, if I just went according to a student who couldn't talk at all, then this kid would have been bored. So I was able to extend a little bit. I was able to talk to the student a little bit. So that's something that you need to gauge while you're teaching. But always look at the timer and always plan to stop. Now, this student, even though he had extra slides, he finished early. So then I went to the blank slide and he did some writing. So I said, let's make the big letter I, small letter I, big letter J, small letter J. We even had time for him to sing the alphabet song. I mean, I was pulling out all the extras here. And so, so be ready for those students too. Some students you have to kind of move along in the slides, and other students you're going to have to camp on a slide and just kind of improvise. So be careful of that and watch for that. So sometimes the level ones, you can repeat everything a bunch of times and they're fine with it. And other students you can extend with props and drawing on the slides. I really like to draw on the slide. I use the blank slide a lot. I also had a birthday class today, and that one finished a little bit early. So I went to the blank slide. We drew a cake. We drew candles. We talked about blowing out the candles. We kind of reviewed the entire lesson by drawing on the blank slide. So that's a really great way to extend if you need to. So pace accordingly. Always look at your clock. If you have a student that is really slow, maybe in the upper levels, maybe level 3, 4, or 5, or even 6, and you feel like, wow, the reading is taking a long time, or the answering questions are taking a long time, I'm not going to finish, then a good thing to do is do something on each slide. Do not skip slides. Do not end early without completing slides. And just do something on each slide. So if you have a list of 5 questions and you need to make up time, or you need to make up, in your lesson, you need to go a little faster, then just say, let's do question number 2, and the next one, let's do question number 3. So you don't have to do every single question on every single slide if you need to pace yourself to be done at minute 25. And so I also want to say, start saying goodbye at 24:30. And that's a really good rule of thumb, is if you keep in mind, I'm going to say goodbye at 24:30, and I like to sing the goodbye song. I'll say, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. I'll see you next time. It's time to say goodbye. That's what I'll sing to my regular students if it's not level 1 with the song already there. And if you still have a little extra time, have them sing it together, wave, spell the word goodbye, anything to make it to the 25-minute mark. And those are my thoughts on finishing at 25. Make it a point to stop at 25 minutes. And if you have any other comments, I would love for you to add them into the description box, or not description, but in the comment section below. And also, if you are not a VIPKID teacher yet, or you would like more information on GoGoKid, OutSchool, or whatever, please also message me. And if you are not a subscriber of my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe today. And I plan to put on more videos like this, ESL, and teaching tips, as well as encouragement along your virtual teaching journey. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.